The emergency session of the Valdoran High Council convened in chaos. Through the crystalline dome of their most sacred chamber, the crimson glow of orbital bombardment painted the sky in hues of destruction. Emperor Zythak's forearms trembled as he gripped the obsidian throne that had ruled the galaxy for 3 millennia. "How many ships?" he rasped, his translator barely keeping pace with his rapid clicks and hisses. 17,000, Your Supremacy, Admiral Kethrax reported, his usually pristine ceremonial scales now dulled with fear sweat. "Human dreadnoughts, carriers, destroyers, and something we've never seen before. Our sensors can barely process their energy signatures." The Emperor's primary eyes narrowed while his secondary pair focused on the tactical display. Just 72 hours ago, the humans had been nothing more than an amusing footnote in galactic politics, a young species from a backwater system that had somehow stumbled into faster-than-light travel. They had been so eager to join the Galactic Consortium, so pathetically grateful for the opportunity to trade with their betters. Ambassador Sarah Chen had arrived on Valdor Prime with such hope in her strange, bilateral eyes. She had spoken eloquently of cooperation, of mutual benefit, of the scientific advances her species could contribute. The Council had laughed behind closed doors. What could these primitive bipeds possibly offer a civilization that had mastered the stars when their ancestors were still swimming in primordial oceans? The assassination was clean, Defense Minister Vorthak had assured him then. A simple neural disruptor, untraceable. The humans will assume it was a tragic accident, perhaps an allergic reaction to our atmosphere. They'll mourn their little ambassador and send another, more compliant representative. How catastrophically wrong they had been. The first sign that something was amiss came 18 hours after Ambassador Chen's body was discovered in her quarters. Instead of the expected diplomatic protests or requests for investigation, the human embassy had gone silent. Completely, utterly silent. No communications, no responses to inquiries, nothing. The building had simply emptied. Then the reports began filtering in from the outer rim. Human merchant vessels, previously content to operate small trading posts, had vanished overnight, not destroyed, vanished, as if they had never existed at all. Border stations reported ghost contacts on their sensors, ships that appeared and disappeared like mirages. "Your Supremacy," Admiral Kethrax continued, his voice cracking. "We're receiving a transmission from the human fleet." "Put it through," Zythak commanded, though dread coiled in his stomach like a living thing. The holographic display shimmered, resolving into the image of a human female. She wore a crisp military uniform, her face carved from stone, her eyes holding the cold fury of a dying star. Her rank insignia was unfamiliar, but the authority radiating from her presence needed no translation. "I am Admiral Lisa Rodriguez of the Terran Defense Force," she began, her voice carrying across the chamber with mechanical precision. 71 hours ago you murdered Ambassador Sarah Chen. She was a mother of 2 children, a brilliant diplomat and a dear friend. She came to your world in peace, offering the hand of friendship. The Emperor's mouth went dry. Behind the Admiral, he could see the bridge of what was clearly a warship, but its design was unlike anything in the consortium database. Clean lines, purposeful geometry, and an underlying menace that spoke of function over form. "You believed humans to be weak," Admiral Rodriguez continued. "You saw our desire for peace as cowardice, our diplomatic overtures as submission. You calculated that a single death would cow us into compliance. You were incorrect." The tactical display updated, showing the human fleet in full. 17,000 ships. But these weren't the crude, boxy vessels the consortium intelligence had reported. These were predators given metal form, each one bristling with weapons that radiated energy signatures beyond current understanding. "We spent the last 71 hours analyzing your civilization," the Admiral said, her words falling like hammer blows. "Your military installations, your industrial centers, your government facilities. We know the location of every major population center, every critical piece of infrastructure, every weakness in your orbital defenses." Emperor Zythak tried to speak, but his translator couldn't process the terrified chittering emanating from his throat. "You have 1 hour to surrender unconditionally," Rodriguez stated. "Abdicate your throne, dissolve your military, and submit to human oversight. In return, your civilian population will be spared and relocated to suitable worlds." "And if we refuse?" Zythak finally managed to force out. The Admiral's expression didn't change, but something shifted in her eyes, something primal and terrifying. "Then we demonstrate why predators shouldn't play games with apex predators." The transmission ended. Zythak looked around the chamber at his advisors, seeing his own terror reflected in their faces. The Valdoran Empire had crushed 100 species, enslaved dozens more, ruled through fear and superior technology for 3,000 years. They had never encountered anything like this. "Prepare the surrender broadcast," he whispered. Admiral Kethrax's mandibles clicked in confusion. "Your Supremacy? You heard me." Zythak slumped in his throne, suddenly feeling every one of his 800 years. "Prepare the surrender. We picked the wrong species to murder." Outside, the human fleet maintained its positions. 17,000 ships holding the most powerful empire in the galaxy hostage. In the depths of space, Admiral Rodriguez stood on her bridge, watching the greatest predators in known space contemplate the simple truth that had taken them far too long to understand. Humans didn't start fights, they finished them. And some lessons once learned left nothing but ash and regret in their wake.